Hey guys, Troy Francis coming at you from New York City, walking down Canal Street, walking uptown. Canal Street actually is a little bit more rough and ready than some of the other streets around Soho. There's a lot of like people on the corners like selling fake designer gear and all this kind of shit, but there's a vibe, it's good. So what do we want to talk about now? Well, what I wanted to touch on briefly is this issue of getting married and having kids and all that, because somebody on a live stream I was on the other day with Tusk asked the question and said, Troy, what about your fucking Twitter? Sorry, what about your Twitter? You're anti-marriage or anti-having kids and all that kind of stuff. And so I wanted to address that because it's kind of an interesting topic and it's something I've talked about a lot on here before. To clarify, I'm not anti those things at all because I am essentially a libertarian, right? So I believe that you should do whatever the hell you want to do, okay? So if you want to get married and you want to have kids and you want to move to suburbia and you want to, whatever, have the white picket fence and all that kind of stuff, absolutely fine by me. It doesn't affect me either way, right? So I don't really care, quite frankly. And also I believe that you should do what you want to do in life, okay? That being said, the only note of caution that I would proffer, and is kind of, I suppose, at the heart of a lot of my content at the moment, is to say, firstly, I think you've got society that pushes the idea that you should do that, and for obvious reasons, because yes, it is it's imprinted in our DNA to procreate, so obviously it kind of makes sense. There's also the argument, which I've heard many times, that strong civilized societies tend to be built on, where there's monogamy and marriage, and, I can see that argument as well. And you've also now got a bunch of bedwetters on things like Twitter and other social platforms who are so-called trads, sort of right-wing, sometimes Christian, sometimes not, but they're like traditionalists, and they believe just sort of ideologically and for religious reasons that you should, do the right thing and wife her up and all that good stuff. So not only have you got mainstream society telling you to do this stuff, and you've got your DNA, and look, I'm not telling you to ignore that, I mean, as I say, it's up to you, but you've got mainstream society telling you to do this stuff, and you've got these people who are pretending to be countercultural, who are also telling you to do this stuff. And it's kind of ironic because you get these guys that they're like, yeah, man, I'm a based Christian. Yeah, man, I'm a based, being trad is the most base thing you can do. Yeah, bro, having 3 kids and getting a mortgage and settling down, that's based, bro. Not like these degenerate playboys, not like these idiots who go around wasting their life on degenerate, meaningless, casual sex and, all the rest of it. And again, you can kind of see what they're saying. I mean, it makes sense on an intellectual level, but it irks me a little bit that these dudes pose as being countercultural when actually they're just pushing exactly the same narrative that mainstream society is pushing. I mean, it's mind-blowing, really, that people get away with this crap. But anyway, regardless of that, my main concern, the bigger concern of all of this, is that everybody who interacts with this content and everybody who interacts with mainstream society, which is obviously what we will do, is getting pushed to the same message, the same agenda, the same narrative, if you even want to use that term. And as I say, I sort of draw back a little bit from using those terms seriously about this, because obviously, as I say, it is imprinted in our DNA to procreate, and pair bonding is important to human beings, I think, for periods of time. But here's the key thing: it's not for everybody. All right, and I think that a lot of guys that I interact with, perhaps being pushed by the trad message and also just by, whatever, they genuinely believe that the only option open to them is, oh shit, well, I'm getting to 30 now, I'm getting to 35, damn, I need to find that wife and I need to, get it done soon, otherwise I'm going to be left on the shelf. And all I'm saying is that is absolutely not the case, okay? All I'm saying is that there is another way, there is another route that you can take to navigate this wonderful world that we all live in, and I guess I'm kind of doing that myself, right? I am a single renegade nomadic bachelor. I'm wandering around New York City right now. I don't have those kind of responsibilities. I'm not married, I'm not in that long-term relationship, I don't have kids. That's a personal choice for me. I'm not saying you have to do the same thing. All I'm saying is, look, we live in one of the greatest times in the history of the world, probably the greatest time in the history of the world, to be a single guy who's out and about, who's living his life, who's on his mission, on his purpose, and having a great time, okay? Oh, got to stop here, look, they're putting something across the road, you can see behind me. You know, it's the best time in human history to do that. Now, far from, you know, like, oh my God, I'm 32, I'm going to get left on the shelf soon. You know, it's absolute nonsense. If you keep yourself in reasonable nick, you present well, you know, you work on the dating stuff, you understand intersexual dynamics, you understand how all of this stuff works, and you keep yourself relevant or relatively relevant in the market. And, you know, I've got plenty of haters who would say that I'm not, but the reality is that, you know, I am. I mean, the evidence shows that I am. You can keep the party, in inverted commas, going for a long time. You can certainly, without any shadow of a doubt, your 30s are golden, right? Your 30s are the best period, I still believe, for a dude, okay? 40s, again, absolutely fine if you're keeping yourself in shape. 50s, well, we'll find out, because, you know, I will enter that at some point in the not too distant future, and we'll see how it goes. But, you know, from working with clients and talking to other guys that I know, and, you know, people I know both from this industry, but also just from, you know, my personal life or whatever, I know dudes who are in their 50s, even in their 60s, who are still having a ball, okay? Like, I know one guy who was in his 60s, and he was married, to be fair. He was married, he does have children, so there is that caveat. But, you know, he was living in Canada, got a couple of properties, whatever, sold up, and he's just traveling around the world, dating beautiful women in different places. And more than that, though, you know, dating's one thing, but more than that, he's exploring the culture. He's doing things that he's always wanted to do. You know, he's really into history. He's really into going on, you know, like hiking. He's really into, you know, some of the more adventurous aspects of travel. So he's doing all of this amazing stuff. And there's this whole, Ryan Tomasi wrote this essay years ago, the lonely old man myth, okay, because this is the thing that always gets thrown at you. It's like, oh, but, you know, you're going to be lonely as an old man. Oh my God, you might be lonely. You know, all of this kind of crap. And certainly this dude, absolutely not. Because look, you know, we live in this amazing age of huge connectivity where, you know, like, there's really, I would say no excuse, but I mean, using the internet and online communities, there should be no reason why you can't meet people and become friends with people who are like-minded to you. I mean, I have no issue with it at all. I mean, people say, oh, it's really hard to make friends after the age of 30 or whatever. Absolute bullshit, right? I've never had any problem with that at all. I've got lots of friends, you know, all over the world, and it's great. It's a blast. You know, I can come to New York, I can meet up with people here, go to Miami, meet up with people there, even in Vegas increasingly now, and obviously all over Europe and everything else. So, you know, I'm having a ball, okay, in the sense that, you know, I'm living what I regard as an interesting life. I'm doing sort of creative work. I think that I'm helping people. That's certainly the intention. Maybe a little bit of entertainment in there as well, I don't know. And yeah, you know, and all I'm saying is, and maybe in a small way, even if to one person, even if there's just one person out there who thinks, do you know what, I kind of get what Troy's saying. I can kind of see that the life he's living is, you know, it's all right, it's pretty good. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying don't do the other things. I'm not saying, you know, if you've always in your mind or in your heart been like, oh God, you know, I'm going to have kids, I'm going to have a family, I want to settle down and blah, blah, blah. And then you meet somebody who meets the criteria that you want and, you know, obviously, you know, vetting, looking for those red flags, all of that kind of stuff. You think, no, this, you know, this is a good girl, this is a good woman, we gel, we bond, I love her, I think we can really make something work here. Go for it. It's your life. It's absolutely fine. And again, you know, I mean, children, having kids, it's a very, very personal thing. As I said, it is encoded in our DNA to do so. People will sometimes say, well, it's our purpose in life to procreate. I don't entirely agree with that. I think on a species level it is, for sure. As a species, yes. If you read something like The Selfish Gene by Dawkins, yeah, of course, you know, on a species level, you know, as a little minute little cog in the machinery of the species, yes, it is everybody's imperative to procreate. I think on a personal level, though, I think when you take it down to the level of the individual, it's slightly different, actually, because I can find meaning in different ways. Like, I might find meaning through meaningful work or artistic expression or through helping other people or through even charity or something like that, right? There are many, many ways that we can create meaning for ourselves outside of reproduction. On a species level, I completely agree. On an individual level, I think it's slightly different, and we can create our own meaning, our own reality, okay? But overall, all I'm saying is, you need to be very clear about what you actually want, okay? You need to be very, and you need to really sit down and really think about it and think, am I being unduly affected here by what mainstream society is telling me? Am I being unduly affected here by what some bloke on Twitter is saying? Am I being unduly affected by what Troy Francis is saying in these stupid videos where he's walking around? I mean, you don't want to be, you've got to make your own decisions on this. All I'm doing is presenting an option amongst the many options that there are. But, as I said, you know, just flying the flag in a small way, if you sort of think, well, do you know what, this marriage thing, this like long-term relationship thing, this domesticity, it kind of seems a bit crap, it's not really for me, I'm not sure that's my vibe. All I'm saying is there is hope out there. Absolutely, I mean, and beyond hope, there is a great life out there that you can enjoy as a single guy, getting a little bit older, okay? And that's the reality of it. I think that's a message that gets lost a little bit out there in the discourse. So that's where I stand on it. Anyway, with all of that being said, if you want to discuss your own dating relationship life with me, if you want to maybe learn some techniques to get better results in the dating scene, then drop me an email or at troy@realtroyfrancis.com, or hit the link below. You can get onto my, hey, you all right? How's things? Hey man, you're right, good stuff. Yeah, book a call with me on my calendar. There's a Calendly link below, and buy my books, Renegade Dating Blueprint. There's a collection of 11 books there. Again, link below, and I'll see you. Subscribe to the channel, of course. For God's sake, we need to get these subscriptions up. I'll see you again very soon. Troy Francis, New York City. Bye-bye.